Welcome, friends, in this very important and significant topic for the Event Sustainability Conclave, which is the challenges and opportunities. We are going to have a practical discussion on the issue of sustainability in the event industry. And to discuss and shed more light on this topic, we have two experts with us. We have Mr. Ubaid Ahmed, who is the marketing head of Bangalore International Exhibition Center, BIEC, as we all know. And we have with us Mr. Gurmeet Singh, who is the Executive Director of Electronics and Computer Software Export Promotion Council, the ESC, which is playing a significant role in the promotion and growth of this very important industry in India. So thank you to both of you for coming on board and sharing and sparing your valuable time for this important session. I think sustainability is a very important critical issue that is facing the event industry these days. In all the forums it is being discussed, and actionable priorities are being discussed on this topic. But apart from those thoughts on the forums today, the purpose of this session is to actually have insights from the stakeholders and understand what kind of action in terms of thought process and in terms of planning and execution is actually happening on site. So I'd like to start with Mr. Ubaid. Ubaid, you have been in the industry since a long time, and BIC has actually taken several initiatives in this regard, if I can recall, since a long time. And even when people were not knowing about green building in India, at that time, BIEC was one of the foremost venues to develop those kind of initiatives. So please shed more light upon a little bit about sustainability initiatives at BIEC to start with.
Yeah, if it's really a pleasure, Raghav, to have you in the have I to have me in the board. Now, if you see the journey of BIC, we started in 2005, and at that time, Mr. Jamshed Godrej, who is the chairman for BIC, has envisaged that we are going to build a green exhibition center. So nobody was talking about sustainability, green practices, carbon footprints in 2005. But in 2007, when we built the center, we were the first LEED certified green exhibition center. We took a lot of measures. We planted trees. We did the rainwater harvesting. Not only that, 30% of our area is green, and more than 1,000 species of trees are planted in PIC. So there's a difference of temperature. I tell you a practical example. In evenings, when I drive back home, my home is 10 kilometers away from the venue. In the venue in the evening, many a times it was raining. But when we go half the way, there was no rains. So that is the impact of green, what we have done basically. So our hall 4 and 5 are gold certified green exhibition center. And not only that, our whole construction is based on sustainability. We have used fly ash, we have used non-CFC gases in our HVAC. You walk through, you will find that it's a green center. In between a green island, you will find exhibition center. That is what we have done.
It's very impressive. And I'd like to move to Mr. Gurmeet. Gurmeet ji, you have been a veteran in the industry since a long time. And as an organizer perspective, as an association, as an industry body who is like pulling in all the corporates, you drive your own exhibitions in India, and you also take delegations to international events. So I would like to first understand your opinion, your thoughts on this critical issue of sustainable events and responsible events.
Thanks, Raghav. I think, and first of all, I would like to compliment you for continuously raising a very important and very concerned matters which are, concerning our industry right in the present status. And I think it's a high time that we all seriously look on ways and means to sustainability in events. And I would say that whatever aspect of life we may refer to today, the underlying subject is sustainability. And why not? After all, as I said, we owe this world to our children and hence are duty bound to ensure sustainability to the planet. And those, all of us who are connected with the events industry knows this, that how our actions impact environment and how things have changed over the years. And right from sending out communication, setting up event sites, ensuring hassle-free travel, transporting material, furnishing, venue, lighting, providing food, everything, right up to smooth write up and cleaning of site, everything at this stage we leave our imprint. So consumption of water. So all these things, I think sustainability, the world has got the attention of this very important topic. And I think it is a high time that we all look at it very seriously. And, my compliments to you for bringing again this very important topic to the attention of the industry. And I'm sure, this will, of late, we have started adopting very innovative technology, and which has really helped in, sustainability in the events. And I'm sure, although initial cost is a little, involved in this, but over the time, it pays off. So I think it's important that we should look at this important aspect more seriously.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gurmeet, for those kind words. The purpose of doing this initiative is to create a voice, create more uniformity in voice and a dialogue to address this issue. Because the moment we start speaking about it, that's the moment the action starts to take shape. A lot of dialogue is happening today around sustainability. And Ubaidji, you are visiting all the industry forums, international forums, and recently you were there at UFI and ICA as well. So there also, a lot of topics are being concerns are being raised about this important issue. Now, how do you see the transition between the some of the less developed countries and the more evolved countries in terms of how they are implementing sustainable practices? What kind of importance they are giving? Because are we at the same level as they are, or there is a gap, and how to address that? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, frankly speaking, Raghav, we are far, far behind in
Because
terms
Ubedji,
of,
I remember the
yeah,
BIEC was I think, the first venue in India which banned the use of flex materials uh,
absolutely.
inside their halls. But
Yeah.
apart from that, how do you see the Indian, ecosystem at this point to adopt sustainable practices?
Well, if we were recently in Cologne, and when I was talking to most of the exhibition organizers and the leading venues in the globe, they said that the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are 17 in number, and the targets are 169. They have taken 169 on priority, which is basically to implement all 168 targets. Whereas you see International Exhibition Center like the Hawaii Center or your Colorado Center or New Columbus Center, they are all measuring carbon footprints for people who are coming. Matlab, they are miles and miles ahead of us basically. We are struggling over here not to tell people that please don't use wood, please use fabric, please use something which is more sustainable. Don't use paints, please use eco paints. These are the basic things that we have been teaching to people, but people are not listening. That is a problem. See, apart from some of the leading exhibition organizers in India, nobody pays any attention on sustainability as of now. That is a fact. And they will leave your venue with so much of garbage that it takes at least 2 to 3 days for us to segregate into different levels and then dispose it off. Our zero no-fill zones are nowhere basically. We really have to work very hard to meet the target of sustainability, UN sustainability target of 2030.
Absolutely. I think this is a very important issue, significant issue. So, what do you feel are the challenges? Has it to be started by the government? A top-down approach is required, or because the private players are all running after profits, and after Corona, people are really actually wanting to make up for the loss of those 2 years. But it is also high time. We are seeing the impact of environment in Delhi. We are sitting in December, and the winter season is not yet commenced. So if we continue like this, then I think it will severely impact the exhibition industry, because if people are going to be impacted by weather conditions, they will not travel to physical events. So ultimately, it will be a big loss to our industry.
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. See, there are visible challenges and we need to implement it on site. Like the initial investment is high. If you talk people not to use flex, use fabric, there's a cost to it. If you tell them, boss, don't use plastic bottles, use reusable bottles which are made from friendly material which can be decomposed, there's a cost to it. Then we lack technical expertise also. And not only that, our operational disruptions will take place. So the government have to take action now. The government have to form a policy. They have to come with a framework that, boss, this is how the things will move forward now. If we are serious, like we're saying, Delhi, it is like smoking 40 cigarettes in a day. If you are living in Delhi, that is type of pollution you are facing. So it's the government initiative. Government has been fighting for Delhi for past 7, 8 years, I think. So that's pollution problem. Every year in the month of November and December, Delhi is a no-go. I have to go to Delhi for one of the event, but seeing the condition, I'm just postponing my visit. I said, let it be, whether be more feasible, then I will travel. So see, individually, there's a cost to it in sustainability. But we should see it as an investment. Nobody is seeing as an investment, basically. We have to see it as an investment. In PIC, we are very serious. Now we are taking more steps towards sustainability. In IMTEX, our own event, we are giving awards for eco design stalls. We are telling them to use prefabricated material. No, don't use any material that is harmful, that cannot be disposed of. But it is a long way to go now. That's what I can say.
Mm. Absolutely. And Mr. Singh, you are, organizing from an organizer perspective, and you have to touch base with a lot of corporate exhibitors. What are your sentiments? How do you see this perspective? Is it something that is actually on the minds of organizer, or is it something which is comes at the last stage and not during the planning stage? What are your thoughts on this?
I would go with Ubaid on this point. I agree with him. This is something that, voluntarily people and, the stakeholders are not adopting to this very easily. And even, given the initial cost, I totally agree with Ubaid that, we should treat this as a initial investments instead of, looking at this as a expense. Because if you see, if we invest in this sustainability at this stage, it will ultimately enhance our brand value. It fosters customers' loyalty and gives us a competitive edge in the market, not only locally but in a global stage as well. So I think, whereas the bodies, certain bodies which are there regulating the industry, they need to come forward, come out with some SOPs for sustainability, some eco-friendly material uses, and we can go as a group to the government to frame some kind of a policy or some directives. I think that is very important because unless it is being forced by some rules or regulations by the government, I think we normally people avoid to volunteer for it.
Mm.
So
But
somewhere I think.
somewhere I would a little bit I have a different perspective on this, because I do feel that in country like India and other some neighboring countries, developing countries, I think we cannot expect the government to take a lead in this regard, because there are so many issues already, and if we knock their doors, it will be a long story for us. So if individually, like BIC has since inception tried to work on this aspect, if we take it as an individual accountability, then I think by raising concerns and industry associations raising concerns, developing some SOPs and directions for all stakeholders, I think that would be a more productive way going forward. What is your thought on this, Mr. Singh? And as an association, as a trade body, as a council, do you have some policies in this place, or some actionable priorities and measures that you would like to implement going forward?
Certainly, I think we should have, we need to follow what our peers are doing on a global stage. If we even learn from them, and adopt simply to what they are, implementing, like Ubaid rightly said, the eco-friendly, the paints, even uses of minimize the uses of plastic, flags in different activities. You take the example of like America, wherein most of their booths are in that drop out
Fabric drops. Yes.
yeah, so I think, and there are other things also. And in Germany, if you leave out your posters there, the next time you participate, you will be getting a huge penalties. So I think they are putting back cost on the users. So somewhere, somehow, some regulations has to be imposed so that people take, whether it is a revenue model or it is an advisory. So I think gradually we need to adopt some of the directives so that people make aware, initially with the cost implementation, or some directives so that the people are serious on this very important aspect.
Absolutely. Mr. Ahmed, would you like to highlight some of the best practices or some of the innovative approaches you might have observed in your various visits to different countries or regions at different events?
See, first and foremost thing, it starts with the beginning. That is a badge. So let us let go of a badge now. We should have some wristbands and we can embedded seeds of plants in those wristbands. Like MasterCard had given in that event sometime back in US. They have given the wristbands beautifully designed with seeds of wildflower embedded into it. So once you are back to your home, you can plant those seeds for the trees basically. That is what I initial step. The second step is when we are having some food, we have to make sure that no food is getting wasted. The plates, what you're doing, the cutlery, what you're doing, so that minimum water is used. The water should always be used only for the drinking purpose, not for washing your dishes and stuff like that. Third thing is, whatever we are doing, we should do it in such a way that we should save energy in terms that minimum light should be used. All the light should be of LED natures, RCFL. Most of the venues should adopt either a wind scale if they have, or they have to go for solar panels. So these are some of the basic things that the venues can do because venue is a huge consumer of energy. If you see there at present, my an event is going on with us basically. I have visited that event in it's happening hall 1 and 2. There are some stalls which have used their recycled material in such a beautiful way that they have created papers out of mash. They have created papers out of the leftover of the coconut. They have created papers from not using the tree, but different other variable ways in which the degeneration of those things are very easy. So what we are doing now, there's a huge cost to it. The problem is we don't have to see the cost in the short term. It can be a cost, but in the long term, it is a resilience of what you have to do for the future.
Absolutely. I mean, these are very important initiatives that we have highlighted. And I do feel that little steps make difference in the long run. So the steps that you have mentioned, I think coming from the venue perspective or even from the corporate exhibitor perspective are very important. But then you also have to deal with lot of service partners. They are stand builders community, they are the carpeting guys, they are the catering guys, and lot of waste and dust is also produced. So as a venue, do you have some practices in line with how to manage these kind of wastage, or you can say to conserve best, to highlight best practices in this regard?
See, first and foremost thing, before looking into all those things, we have to look the safety of the people who are working. That is the prime importance to us, basically. So when we tell organizers to educate your exhibitors and in turn the exhibitor to their stall fabricators that the people who are coming as laborers with us, they should have at least some basic safety equipments with them, like an harness when they are working on height, or even the shoes. A safety shoe is a basic thing. I can tell you in some of the events, 30 to 40% of the people, the laborers who are coming to work, they don't even wear shoes. And when we insist, it is comes out to be such a big problem, both from the organizer side as well as from the vendor side, that they say that they are not used to wearing shoes. Now, if you're working in an environment whereas you are now doing drilling also and grinding also inside the hall and may not know what all things they do inside the hall basically. So if they are not even basic adherence to the security is important. We are fighting for that. Now, your second point, once the exhibition is over, there's a last large amount of waste that is created. So what we are able to do now is we are able to segregate 50% of that waste effectively in our compound only, so that once it is going out, the thing that is going out to a landfill should not pollute the land. That is what our aim is as of now. And that is very, we have to strive hard for that. It is not easy.
Mm. That is very good, and I believe that this 50% number will keep rising with the coming years. Mr. Singh, I do believe that when we talk about sustainability, then we have also to think about innovative best practices, and technology is one of the main tools that can be used to offset, negative practices. How do you feel that technology advancements or innovative approaches can give good direction to the event industry in this regard?
I think, Raghav, that adoption of technology, has significantly contributed to the sustainability in the events industry, to reduce the environmental impact and improve efficiency. And some of these include, as we all know, we have adopted to a large extent in our events also. That includes digital ticketing and registration, and adopting paperless processes and increasing the efficiency here. And if we talk about the digital marketing and communications, we have energy efficient technology in air conditioning and smart lighting, renewable energy, waste management to use digital signages instead of printed ones. And uses of data analytics and AI has not only made events more efficient and cost effective, but also significantly contributed to their sustainability. I would like to add here, very interesting startup which recently, I got a chance to be a jury on a startup challenge, and there was one startup who introduced a very AI-based tool which is giving you a very energy efficient application, and it reduces your, air conditioning cost to almost 50%. So it analyzes the cooling and giving you the right temperature and automatically switch off your energy, saving a lot on the energy point of view, giving you the right kind of a temperature without compromising with the environment and the climate control. So these tools are there, and if we use and adopt to these technology which are there, and not only we are promoting our startups, young entrepreneurs, but it is giving us a right kind of an impact in our industry.
Mm. Absolutely, absolutely. Well said. I think this session today, attendees must have gained a lot of good insights. I encourage our attendees to use this virtual platform, connect with each other, and create a dialogue amongst each other to drive more solutions towards sustainability. If you have any queries, please leave those queries in the chat box. Finally, Mr. Ahmed, as we draw to a close of this session, any closing remarks, anything you would like to give to the industry? Because you are not just a venue, you are also in the capacity of a very big organizer. So, in this direction, if you want to give any closing remarks, please, you can say a few words.
Well, I will only say that sustainability has a long way to go. Even though the targets set by the UN is 2030, we have to strive and we have to make sure that at least not 169 points, but at least 50% of those points get implemented in our exhibition industry by 2030. That will be a goal that we should look at. We should strive for 169 points. I'm not saying that. But again, if we are not able to do that, let's start. Let's move forward. Let the organizers, the venue, the service providers join hands together and say that, okay, we are now going to be working on sustainable events. We will work together with our differences aside. And when we are talking about our environment, as Sir has rightly said, we should look at our future, that what we are going to give to our future generation.
Absolutely. Very, very well said. Mr. Singh, final remarks from you, your closing message to the industry.
I would say, I would just stress upon that sustainability in the events and exhibition industry presents both challenges and opportunities. And by embracing sustainable practice, we not only protect our environment, but also enhance our reputation, foster royalty, and drive innovation. And together, I would say it's a shout out call. We can create a more sustainable future for our industry. And looking at future, it is perhaps crystal clear that sustainability will open new business models for those who are ready to take the plunge and have the early mover advantage. So no doubt it will spur innovation and increase use of technology in the events. Also, emphasis on adopting circular economy will increase, and nations would compete to outdo each other in sustainability quotient. In concluding, I would say it's high time we must also start contributing towards sustainability. Although we are late, but it's better late than never. And using the simple maxim of reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Recycle.
Wonderful. That's a triple R, RRR. So
Yeah.
thank you for sparing your valuable time with us, Mr. Ubaid Ahmed and Mr. Gurmeet Singh. I really appreciate it. And we wish all the best to you in your continued endeavors. And I do believe that the industry stakeholders will take good insights from this session today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rana.